Hello and welcome back to the Centrella show. Today is my Monday short coaching episode. And so I wanted to talk about one of the things that I work with my clients on a lot because I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and also a lot of executives who work from home. I think a lot of us work from home these days, post-COVID. And so I wanted to share with you my routine for working at home and also kind of my morning routine. Now, keep in mind that I have been working from home since 2012. So, God, 9 years. And the first 4 or 5 years of that was in corporate. I was in corporate sales in my previous life before I started doing this full time. And as a corporate sales executive and a single mom who had full custody of her kids, and they were at that point all small, they were like in elementary school. And, summers were really tough when I think during COVID, most parents got this, but back in the day, no one got it and no one cared. But I had to go through the summers working from home, a full-time job, trying to, keep the kids quiet while I'm on calls and all of that stuff that now, most of us are pretty familiar with. But so in order for me to kind of keep my sanity, I had to come up with a schedule and some routines and some really specific things that helped me transition into the different roles that I have in my life. And kind of keep my sanity. So these have been tools that have helped me both as an entrepreneur since I started doing this full time in 2017, because that even gets more difficult. It's one thing if you're working for a company and typically you're working a 9 to 5. For the most part, you can kind of close it down and go about your life if you're working from home. But a lot of times as an entrepreneur, that line is really blurred. And I know many who work around the clock or, waste away half the day and then wind up working at night when they could be spending time with the family. And it's just really hard to get a good rhythm and routine going. So the first thing I'm going to start us off with is obviously the morning. So let's start and just kind of walk through the day. And the very first thing that I've found to be really important is the energy that I get out of bed with in the morning. Now, I will preface this by saying I'm not a morning person. I do not love mornings. I've never loved mornings. I would sleep till noon every day if given the opportunity. I'm much more of a night owl. So putting a morning routine in place that I stick to was not easy. Okay. So if that's you, understand that I get you and you're not alone, but it can be done. Excuse me. So now, for example, when my girls are in school, they're up at 5:30, 6 in the morning. So I'm up every morning at 6:30. I'm getting them their lunches. I'm, packing them up, making breakfast, getting them out the door. So I know right off the bat that during the school year, my day is going to start at 6:30. And the first thing that I do when I wake up and I hit, my alarm is I say 3 mottos really quickly to myself that kind of set the tone for the day. So I'll say, today is going to be a great day. Something amazing is about to happen. I'm excited to see, what is around the corner, whatever. So I'll have something that will really kind of set the positive intention for the day, set the expectation for the day, that gets me excited to get up and get going. And that is before my feet hit the ground. That is the very first thing that happens. And then when I'm brushing my teeth, I'm literally going through my I am statements. If you're one of my clients, I am statements are a big piece of the overall Centrella method that I teach. That is part of the think it step and also the say it step. They're super critical because that is literally how you change yourself. So you pick IMs that are aspirational. They're who you want to be or how you want to feel or how you want to be treated. And you say them to yourself every single day until you become that. And it might sound silly, but let me tell you, it is So effective. It works every single time. And there's lots of reasons why that works. I'll do another show on that specifically when I get into doing some mindset stuff. But just know that it is a perfect way to start your day. As you're doing your 2-minute brush, the whole time I'm saying things like, I am beautiful, I am successful, I am attracting incredible people into my life. Whatever your specific things are that you want to work on, that is your moment to pump that in your system. Literally fill your head full of it. Get yourself jacked up for the day and in a space that you feel like you can take on the world and you know who you are, because that is how I define myself. I get to define myself. The world doesn't get to define me. Social media doesn't get to define me. No one gets to define me. I create those definitions for myself and I become them. Okay. Okay. So after I do that, then my day begins. I'm going downstairs, like I said, making lunches, getting everybody out the door. And then a very important piece of your morning, I used to just have my morning coffee, and some days that would be all I would have until 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Obviously, that's not healthy. And so the last couple of years, I've made a very intentional practice with my self-pride challenge to make sure that I am nurturing myself and taking care of my body the best I possibly can, and my health as well. So I eat breakfast with my coffee now, and I make sure that it is something good, something filling, protein, the things. A lot of times I'll have yogurt and oatmeal together. So I'll get that done right off the bat in the morning so that I have about an hour before my workout, so that can kind of settle as well. And then the next big tip is you have to schedule your workouts. You have to block out the time in your calendar. Otherwise, guess what? People are going to fill up your calendar and you're going to be in that position of like, well, I had the intention of going for a walk today, or I had the intention of working out, but my day just got crazy and I wasn't able to do it. But if the time is always blocked out on your schedule, you will make it happen. And trust me, I've tried every version of this. And the only way that I have been able to be consistent and show up for myself in that way is if the time is always blocked in my calendar. So what I have is I usually try to hit a class at the gym that's from 9 to 10. Luckily, they have all kinds of classes in that time slot so that I can get a variety of workouts in. And I do not open up my calendar for anyone to book anything until 10:30 a.m. Now, I know that might be kind of crazy for you, and you might be like, there's no possible way I can make that work. And maybe you can't. So maybe your schedule allows you to hit a 7 a.m. class. I wish mine did. It conflicts with the kids getting out the door. So by doing that, by making that time sacred, and by giving myself enough time to not only get to the gym, but get back, get dressed, and be ready for my first meeting if it's at 10:30, that has enabled me to schedule the workout, stick to it, create a habit around it that I no longer am, having this war going on, like, should I work out? Should I not work out? Etc. It just layered it in really seamlessly. I schedule my classes a week to 2 weeks in advance. They're on my calendar. That makes me show up. I don't even think about it. I just grab my stuff, walk out the door, on it goes. Okay. So all of those things help to get my energy, both physically and mentally, and all of that in the right place for when it's time to work, and those first meetings. Oh, and I did forget one thing in my very first early morning routine. Actually, before I even brush my teeth, I douse my face with ice cold water, as cold as I can get it. And I'll do that for about a minute. So I'll just keep washing my face with ice cold water, or I'll put an ice pack on. That helps speed up the process of my brain waking up and my body waking up, and just, take something that would, no joke, take me probably an hour to kind of feel like I'm waking up, turns that into 5 minutes. So I think that's a important component of the morning as well. And then after I have my workout, I come home, and every single day I get dressed fully. That's new for me. Years and years and years I worked from home, and would not even like brush my hair or take a shower or, be in sweats all day. And let me tell you, it affects how you show up 100%. If you don't believe me, just try doing it and you'll see the difference. It completely affects your confidence. It affects how you come across. It affects whether you're ready for anything that comes up during the day. So if I get a surprise call that, a TV producer wants to jump on a Zoom and talk to me, I don't have to go, oh my God, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not camera ready. No, I'm ready. Great. Let's get on. Let's talk. So ladies, take the time, do your makeup, do your hair, get dressed, get ready. You're going to feel so much better, and it's going to make it feel like you're going to work. Even if that is just opening up your laptop on your dining room table, it just makes a difference. And then the next thing that I do in my routine is I schedule specific tasks. So back when I was in corporate sales, I would schedule my live meetings. In other words, the meetings I had to be out with clients. I would schedule them for Tuesdays and Thursdays. So those were like my out of office days. I knew I was going to be out meeting with clients on those days. And then it left the other days of the week to make sure I was doing all the other tasks associated with my job, whether it was following up, setting new meetings, contracts, whatever. And now that I work for myself, I Monday through Friday, usually I have Monday blocked off for the most part, so that I can do internal work stuff for my business. But all of my meetings are only between 10:30 and usually about 4 p.m. That's the window that I'm available for meetings. And the rest of that time, I make sure that the evening is sacred. So it's very rare that I'll have an evening meeting. I've done kind of group sessions in the past on like a Monday evening, and I don't do that anymore. My evenings are sacred. So if you're an entrepreneur, I suggest that you look at your schedule and, pick a day that you always do, let's say marketing, or you always do outreach and sales, or whatever those tasks are for your business, and break it up. Be like, from 10 to 12 on Monday, that's what I'm going to do. So be strategic about it, write it down. I have what I call my master list. It's always right in front of me on my desk. And that's where all the brain dumping is going, of everything I need to do. All my to-do lists are there so that it's out of my head. I know that if I'm ever kind of stuck, I'm thinking like, hey, what should I do for this hour? I can flip through that, quickly find a task that I can achieve, and finish in that hour. So that really helps me stay organized, feel less overwhelmed, and really feel like I'm making progress every day, on good days or not. And then the last kind of piece is really respecting the boundaries of your time. Like I said, for me, 5 o'clock is an absolute cutoff. I try to cut off at 4, but 5 o'clock is when everything is shut down, and I am literally walking out of my office and closing the door behind me, so that those little things, all those little things, help my brain transition into the next part of the day. So I can let work go. I can leave it. And then I can move into the next part of my day, which is a part that is connected with my family. My girls will come down, we'll cook dinner together, we'll watch a show together. I'll turn the music on. So, doing little things like that. Like as soon as I walk out of my office and into the living room, telling Alexa to put on my favorite playlist just helps get me to release work and step into the next part of my day. And I will say that is one of the most important things that you can do, is really start to understand and value the other components of your life. If you don't, you will feel burned out, overwhelmed, frustrated, all of that. Like, how could you not? Because everything bleeds together. So the only way to back out of that cycle and to begin living a balanced, happy, and joyful life is to start valuing the other aspects of your life. Truly, you have to value things that bring you joy. And by doing that, that means I'm scheduling them. I am putting them in the mix and putting them in my routine so that every day I'm experiencing, even if it's 5 minutes, I'm experiencing a little bit of that. For me, one of my passions is cooking. I love cooking. And if you know anything about me, you know I love Italy. So, if I've had a tough day at work, and I walk in and I put on a Pavarotti playlist and I start sauteing some onions and garlic and a little olive oil, then I can let it go, right? And I can get into the moment. I can allow kind of joy and presence and those things to come into my life. And I'm telling you, it is so critical. So if you don't know what your things are that help you feel that way, then that's your task. Figure it out, because it is so important as a way to de-stress, decompress, and refuel and recharge yourself. One other little hack or tip that I'll share with you that I used when I was in corporate sales, and back when my kids were really young and I had to drop them off at daycare, I used to imagine various coats that I would wear. And that just kind of helped me compartmentalize my day, kind of put them in little boxes so that I could show up in my day as the various roles I needed to be, rather than having everything bleed together all the time and feel like I'm kind of failing at everything. I have found, especially for myself, that if I show up in the task that I'm at and I give it 100%, then I can be successful. But multitasking is a freaking lie, and it's not an effective way for at least me to function. So I really try to step away from that and do my time blocking instead, do my boxes, as I call them, instead, so that I can be more effective. So one of my little brain tricks was, I'm a very visual person. So I used to imagine that when I would walk out the door to go to work or drop off my kids at the daycare when they were young and go to work, I imagine myself putting on this like beautiful Prada coat and grabbing my, expensive briefcase and whatever. So I imagined in my mind that I was stepping into work mode, and my work mode was my Prada trench coat. And then when I would, go pick up the kids and work's done, right, and I'm spending time with the kids, then I would imagine I'm putting on my juicy sweatsuit, right? Or whatever the case is. And I would always change clothes immediately. As soon as I go home, get out of my work clothes and get into, and I do that now still, because I'm in my work clothes every day. So I'll go get something comfortable on, so that immediately I'm doing physical things that are aligning with the boundaries I've set up in my life, so that my brain can connect those two, and it just becomes habitual, and it just makes it a whole lot easier to snap into those separate transitions really, really quickly, rather than, your brain taking an hour or whatever to kind of release and catch up. So once I'm mentally saying, oh, as soon as I have the sweats on, I can let the day go and I can be comfortable. And then I'm physically doing that, that really helps a lot as well. So hopefully some of those tips help you organize your work from home life in a little bit maybe more effective way. Even if you're plugging in one or two of those tips, something resonated with you. I'm going to put an outline of that here in the show notes so that you have it, and you can take notes and just fill in your own schedule and see how you can adapt or apply any of these tips to customize your own schedule in a way that is effective, that is not overwhelming, and that you feel like you are in control of for the most part, and you feel productive and good. Because like I've said a million times, everything I do and everything I teach is about setting yourself up for wins. So doing things that help you automatically win, I'm for it. I'm here for it. I'm totally here for it. Okay, so don't forget that on Fridays, I do a fun giveaway. Support the show by going and commenting on any of the posts in my feed on Instagram. And then pay attention to my stories, because that's where I'll announce the winner. Thank you so much for supporting. Share the show. That would be amazing. That's also how you give back. And if you want to work with me, I have those links here as well. All right, until next time, hustle and thrive.